Welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and the Furious, we will review theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And tonight we are reviewing Hawkeye, Episode 6, titled, So This Is Christmas. The season finale. Oh.
You almost said it. You almost said it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Stuff happens. This is going to be exciting. Let me introduce the crew, starting off with Chris Slattery. He's the Slattman. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Amazing. Spectacular.
We did that with our Spider-Man review. Letting it spill over. What is this?
I see what you're doing there.
I know. Hawkeye doesn't have any adjectives, right?
He should.
He is.
He's the only one he's got is ultimate.
Not the accurate.
Yeah.
The sharpshooting. The bow slinger. I don't know. What? Okay, let's keep going. Also, for joining us is podcasting rockstar international cosplay queen Vanessa. How you doing?
Doing excellent. Wore my favorite Christmas sweater just for this episode. My Mickey. It's fitting, right?
Yes, you got mouse ears and snowflakes. What else do you need in life, right? All right. And also joining us is our co-host with the most. It's Chad Hunt. Chad, sir. How you doing?
I am strong like bull.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Glad you're here, sir. All right, what we're going to be doing is reviewing Hawkeye episode 6. We're going to give our first impressions. That will be spoiler free, but then we're going to dive into spoilers. There's a lot to talk about, and we're going to do it. And then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And of course, if you're watching this review, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And we hope you stick around for the next series we're going to cover, which is the Book of Boba Fett. Yes. And if you want to help us out, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button. And share with a friend. And we'll appreciate it greatly. And, of course, we want to hear your comments down below. Let's take a look at the card. Bing. Hey, who's that guy? Season 1, Episode 6, December 22nd, 2021 on Disney+. So This Is Christmas. Directed by Rhys Thomas and written by Jonathan Igla. Either way.
Okay.
The cast includes, but is not limited to, Jeremy Renner, Haley Stanfield, Florence Pugh, Alakwa.
Uh-huh.
Scarlet Hawk, what is it?
Alakwa
Cox. Vera Farmiga. Woohoo. Tony Dalton, Linda Cardellini, Frafi, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Golf clap.
Oh my God!
Clint and Kate's partnership is tested as they face consequences of exposing the conspiracy. Yes. We didn't get Mephisto earlier, but we got Kingpin this time. Yes. This is going to be so much fun to talk about. Let's do our first impressions. Slattman, let us have it.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Oh my God. Oh my God. How many more do I need, Chad?
I don't know. Did you watch the same show we did?
Yeah. Holy crap.
Okay. Holy moly.
Yeah.
It's holy moly.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole.
What a way to end a series. This was the roller coaster that kept going up. It never let us down.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And damn it, I want to go around again. It's so much fun.
Nice. Wow, I'm gonna give you a clap on that. That was awesome.
Thanks. There's a lot I could say about this episode, so I guess we'll get into it more once we get into the spoilers. But there are some amazing performances in this, and because of how they nailed this, I think this might be the best Disney Plus Marvel's show. It's better than Loki. It's much better than WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and What If. And other than Spider-Man, this might be the best thing they've come out with since Endgame or Infinity War.
Wow,
Yeah.
those are big words. Those are big
Yeah,
words.
this is a I mean, if it's not clear, you know, this is a 5 out of 5 series for me, and a lot of it is how they nailed this ending.
All right, I take it you liked it. All right,
No, I hated it.
Scarlet Hawk. Vanessa, how you doing? What is your first impression of the final episode of season 1 of Hawkeye?
Oh,
Save my
man.
optimism. Season 1 of Hawkeye.
Can we hope? This episode, I cried so much, but I cried because I was excited, and I cried because I was happy, and I cried because I was moved. You know, so many things happened that were really intense and really powerful and really cool, and I just loved it so much. And what Chris was saying, like, I honestly believe this is the best series that Disney Plus has come out with. Star Wars aside, right? We're keeping Marvel and Star Wars separate. The best, and I honestly think this episode is the best episode out of all of them too.
Oh, wow.
It was so well done, and just every punch you were getting, it was the one that you wanted as you were watching it. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they were able to do everything they did in 59 minutes. I really don't. So satisfyingly too. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt too long. Like everything felt like it was the right amount of time to answer the questions that we had and to show us the things we wanted to see. And yeah, definitely, at least personally, favorite episode out of all the ones that have come out of all the series.
Great. Oh man, that's wow. You guys are impressed. All right, Chad Hunter, what was your first impression?
I was worried. I was very worried how they were going to wrap this up in one episode. I'm glad it was an hour, first of all. But when I first heard it was only going to be 6 episodes, I was like, wow, they're going to stick to one storyline, you know, with that amount of episodes. But they successfully juggled multiple plot lines and multiple character arcs in the most wonderful way, and like you guys brought out, it's so satisfying too at the end, and I was just amazed. I felt like an idiot because I was just watching it and my mouth was going just hanging open the whole time, and it just made this episode made me very, very happy. Very happy. That's my first impression.
Very happy.
I'm sticking with it.
Sticking with it. I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. Not as much as the three of you. But don't. But I still really liked it.
Go home.
I will just say that I missed Burton Birdie directing it. I felt the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it's poorly directed by any stretch of the imagination, but there's an energy to what Burton Birdie delivered, but it had everything we were looking for in it. The sight of Mephisto, and but there was a couple of threads that I felt were a little dangled a little too loosely. The important ones were wrapped up, right? The 3 important threads were wrapped up, and that was nice. So we can get into the specifics of each of those and how well each one. I think you guys liked all 3. One of them I thought was a little shallow, but we'll get there. So it's okay. I'm saying all this, but I'm still going to give it a 5, just so you know. It's not all that in a bag of chips, but I did enjoy this. My score, that is not in a bag of chips. The show is all that in a bag of chips. All right, let's dive into spoilers. Chris is not here, so we don't have our Easter eggs. We're going to save that for a special episode. Maybe we'll do that and kind of wrap up the series as a whole. With that, when he returns, of course, it's his Christmas holidays, or I think they just call it winter holidays, winter thing now. But he's he's off traveling, as many here in the States are. So when he is able, we'll hop back on and do something like that. But before we continue, we want to wish everybody listening a happy holidays.
Absolutely.
Yes. Happy holidays.
All right. Kingpin is the big thing in this. We finally, not only do we get Kingpin, we get a lot of Kingpin. I really thought it was going to be just one scene with him and Eleanor Bishop, and that was going to be it. But no, he's in quite a few scenes, and he gets some action. Now, Chad Hunt, sir.
What?
The speculation is, and everybody's wondering, is this the same Kingpin that was in the Daredevil series on Netflix? Or is it slightly different?
This Kingpin is Marvel's Kingpin. This Kingpin is Spider-Man's Kingpin, Daredevil's Kingpin. You never saw the Netflix Kingpin rip a car door off and get shot by arrows and just go, and to punch a hero and they go flying across the room. Yeah, the Netflix Kingpin was a tough character, but this is the one I remember from the early Spider-Man comics where his looks are deceiving. He looks like a big fat dude, but he's actually a solid big slab of muscle who can move like ninjas almost, And that's the vibe I was getting off this Kingpin. I was glad to see Vincent D'Onofrio back in the role because
he's perfect.
He looks in everything.
Yeah.
He's just perfect in that role. But I really feel like this is a different Kingpin or an updated Kingpin for the MCU. Maybe
a slight
something
variant.
happened.
Slight variant.
It definitely screams more comic booky Kingpin than, and it's funny. I'm rereading some of the Spider-Man stuff because that movie and
that movie,
that one movie,
and I just finished an arc with Kingpin, and holy crap, this Vincent nailed Kingpin that we know from the comics, like the white. I never thought we'd see Kingpin in a Hawaiian shirt, but here we are.
There are comics with him in that that very outfit. So
when he ripped that car door off, I was like, "What? What did he just do?"
Yeah.
If they're gonna canonize those, then he had to have something done, right? Because he's more super soldier than he was in that series. He's more Kingpin than he was in that series as far as physicality goes. So I don't know. Is Matt? Oh my god, I can't cross spoiler.
Murdock?
I don't want to cross spoiler here.
Well, okay.
The Matt Murdock we're gonna see in the Marvel universe that Feige has told us about. Is that the same one, right? Is that the same one that's from the Netflix series? I hope so, because he's a badass. But also, I want them to have the real Marvel treatment, right?
Yeah.
All the big bucks behind him.
Yes.
You could make an argument that season 1 of Daredevil could be canon, and then it could split off into a different path.
Yeah.
Because
I think do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. I have a feeling we're going to find out. I feel Echo is going to follow some of the threads that we're bringing up when that show comes out, either late in 2022 or early 23. But yes, he comes walking in with the cane, and it just sits down. Oh my gosh!
Of him walking. Oh my god!
And as Eleanor is saying she's leaving, his eyes twitching. Oh my god! You're like, you can see him getting ready to like.
Oh my gosh!
Pop up.
What a twist!
Don't do that, Eleanor.
Yeah. He
felt scared for her.
Soft voice at the same time, but also the powers back there. But what a twist with Eleanor! Did y'all see that coming? I didn't see that coming.
I had no idea. I knew she was something was going on with her, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out until the end here when they showed it.
Oh, I had suspect, but that's only because the comic book story. And Eleanor's in the comic book story, and there's something that happens there. But
yeah, it made sense that she would draw the line at her daughter being in the way or in harm's way. But at the same time, they did a very good job of kind of painting her as evil mama.
Yeah.
Well, she was always kind of like, something fishy's going on here.
Yeah.
But she ended up, she killed Armand III. She set up her fiance and she's the one that called in and said, "Hey, Hawkeye's here. Come get him." And this is what you do for Christmas. You send mommy to jail, so that's cool.
Well, I mean, she kind of deserved it, though.
She kind of deserved it. Yes, she did. I like Vera Farmiga in it because she gave it a nuance. There was, you could see the caring and the evil bubbling all at the same time. In the comics, I mean, spoilers. We're in spoilers. In the comics, she is Madame Mask, so
she could be back.
Yeah, they may not be done with her.
Yep, she could come back and could get all scary and happy. But Kingpin goes on to fight Kate Bishop. I didn't see that. I didn't think the two of them would fight because they're so uneven, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's so much more powerful. Now, I've heard a lot of criticism about this fight. People are kind of thinking they kind of pulled the rug out from under Kingpin. I don't think so. I think it was, I felt you could tell he was pulling his punches because it was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And it was, that line that he'd just been told about, and he wasn't going to not, but he wasn't going to all the way. I feel like he was pulling his punches because when he was, when she did the arrow that kind of blocked his path, he could have immediately done something, but he didn't, right? He stopped, and you could see him holding himself back.
That guy could have snapped her neck in like an instant.
He could have crushed her.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. So because she was a kid, he didn't.
I have a surprise for everybody.
Ooh.
Christopher G. Moore is
here.
Oh my
God, Chris.
He made it. How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay. I may have to be a little bit quiet because there's a little baby in the other room, but
baby.
You have something to share with us?
Yes.
That was quick.
Just came out.
Life changes fast.
We're in the middle of talking about Kingpin, but go ahead really quickly and give us your first impression of episode 6.
I think it was an amazing ending to this season. It had so many amazing action sequences. It had such a great arc to the Hawkeye character as well as the Kate character.
Mm-hmm.
And it resolved a lot of the questions that we had throughout the season. So it's to me, it's the best episode of this whole season. And of probably one of the better episodes of any of the MCU shows.
Yeah,
so
that's
wow,
what we're
you guys,
Doc, I think you're on an island right now.
I am, but it's not very far. It's got a sandbar connecting
Peninsula.
I mean,
just a little river.
Yeah, just a little. All right. We were talking about Kingpin fighting Kate. We already talked about his first appearance and what it all meant. So why don't you share, Christopher, your what did you think of the battle between Kate Bishop and Kingpin?
I loved it. I mean, I think this episode kind of proved maybe this Kingpin is from another universe than the
that's what we were thinking.
This series, because he's a little bit more. He's a little bit more. I don't want to say cartoonish, but he's more comic bookish, I guess is a better way to say it.
He could be a variant.
And he had a cane, which is what he's more famous of having in the comics. He did not have it in the series, which is one of the Easter eggs. But yeah, I love that fight because again we get sort of the callback to when is she going to use that. That flipping a coin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
with his own cufflink.
With his own cufflink, which was actually again another Easter egg. That's the same style of cufflink he used in the series.
Yeah,
and it was also what is it? The thing where if you show a handgun, you have to use it. Except this time it was with the too dangerous arrow.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And the flipping of the coin and half a dozen other things. All right, so let's move on to Echo herself and her arc, because we left her last episode finding out about that the reason why everything happened was from higher up, and she has 3 crucial scenes, one with Kingpin, one with I'm dropping his name all of a sudden.
Oh, it's
Kaz?
Kaz, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And then of course another one with Kingpin to wrap it up. The first one with Kingpin is another one where Vincent D'Onofrio just absolutely shows the power of his control and acting and just he's like a lit piece of dynamite in that episode, in that particular scene, because you know he's going to pop and explode. He just and when he turns around, you hear it in his voice when he talks to him and says, you got to get him.
He pretty much owns that character now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's so good.
No one
He's so
will
good.
ever be able to replace him.
Mm-mm.
His just presence as the character is so fitting. And what's funny is I saw a little snippet of Full Metal Jacket, and to think like, oh man, what he was doing there, all the way to Kingpin is like so crazy.
Yeah.
Plus he's probably doing what he did in the series, to where in the series there's a person who's speaking in Chinese, and he acts like he doesn't understand, and then he talks back there in Chinese.
Yep.
And I kind of feel maybe the same thing. He knows sign language probably pretty well, and probably does not need that guy to translate for him.
Well, he did a little bit of it. Yeah,
he did a little bit of it, but I almost feel like he always plays like he doesn't.
Not showing his hand.
But when you think about it, he's communicated with her since she was a child.
Of course,
of course. So they probably have their way of communicating.
Sure.
And then of course she, well, we won't. Let's just skip ahead to the end. Okay. after the fight with Kate, and the police show up, Kingpin goes down the alleyway to get away from getting caught, runs into Maya, and now she's got her hair down. She's more Echo than Maya now, and she points a gun at him. We pull away and we see, we hear the gun go off.
Yeah.
All right. I want a show of hands. Did she shoot Kingpin?
I think so.
But rule number 1 of comic books: if you don't see the character, the death of the character on panel,
that was going to be my next question.
Rule number 2: if you see the character's death on panel, they're probably still not dead.
Well, but even if he got shot, he didn't die. But what I think probably happened is maybe last minute
he took an arrow to the heart and didn't die.
Well,
right.
Well, there's probably the Easter egg with that is there's actually in the comics she does that. She shoots him point blank, and he does survive, but he's blinded.
Yep.
So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to play that storyline out for maybe the Echo series, to where she finds out he survived. So
yeah, I feel like they are. I feel like
if they killed off Kingpin, people would be sad.
Not like that. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it like that.
That's one thing that's always been established in comics: is Kingpin is one tough son of a gun. He's hard to kill. He's like the Jason of the mob in the comics.
They've already come out and confirmed that he did survive, and you'll have to learn. You have to wait to find out how.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
So he'll come back with an eye patch.
Back to him and Kate fighting. I put Spider-Man in that fight, and how amazing would that be? Like.
That's what we want, right? We want a Spidey Daredevil team up against.
There was that thing where she covered up the hole and it looked like a spider web. So
yeah. All the electrical stuff. Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, Hawkeye, Clint, and I'm going to mess up the name. Yelena. I want to make sure I get it. Yelena. Are battling out on the skating rink, and we get a conclusion to that storyline. Are we satisfied with it?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they handled it well.
I think she kind of knew all along that was the case, and that's what happened, but she didn't want to admit to herself because she was so upset that Clint got to spend all this time with Wanda. Natasha, and you kind of get that, you got to
Mhm.
spend the best years with her, and I didn't,
Right,
Now
right.
now
Yeah, she
she's
was
dead.
mad.
A little jealousy going on there, a
Mhm.
little
Yeah,
regret.
she didn't want to believe it. She wanted to have someone to kill in order to feel
Yeah,
better,
Yeah.
but I feel like she
Vengeance.
kind of knew. Yeah.
Well, I think that the hesitance of that was, with the conversations with Kate, you could see it
Hmm.
Yeah.
kind of bubbling behind that. So
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Oh,
What a
and Kate trying to stop her from getting on the elevator, and that
Yes,
was
yes.
hilarious.
that was
That was
so
so funny.
great. That was, and once again, you see Yelena, obviously holding back,
Mhm.
right? Because with her training and her skills, she could take her out in an instant. But
Oh, when
you know,
when
When
Kate
she
smacks
slapped
her.
her.
when she
Oh my
smacks her,
gosh.
yes, or
What
when she
was that?
says,
She's so what was
It's why
that?
stop making me like you, or she says something to that effect. Like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Yeah, of all the people in this, they have the best chemistry. It's quite amazing.
I
the two
kind of
them
wish
together.
they'd have a spinoff just those two.
Yes, yes.
Going
They
on like a
might.
road trip or something.
Like Hawkeye 2 is the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
only Yelena solo Black Widow movie with
Yeah,
Kate.
With Kate.
That would be
I'd
great.
be fine with that too.
Hmm.
Yep.
yeah, that would be a lot of fun. But her Yelena and Clint's conversation there on the skating rink was just so powerful and touching, and to see both of their emotions and the way they he's trying to convey to her, as much as you loved her, so did I. In that same kind of, in a platonic way too, right? Because there was
Yeah.
never anything. Of course, they were flirty and stuff throughout the series, but that's how they're friends. But it was such a true love for each other that you saw come out in that moment that Yelena had for her sister and Clint had for
Yeah.
Natasha. Oh, it's just such a wonderful moment.
Yeah, and you can see them recognizing it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of heart and a lot of emotion, which I think really we got to see throughout the 6 episodes, and I'm really happy that happened. All right, so there's a lot of action. There's
A lot.
Yeah, and let's talk about the fight that precedes the the
Which
conversation.
fight?
Can we talk about Jack?
There's so many great
Jacques.
fights.
Oh well, we can talk about Jack.
Jack was awesome.
I mean,
Let's talk about Jack. Jack.
well, yeah,
The
we finally get to
swordsman.
see. Yeah, I mean, maybe that'll be his LARPing name as the swordsman.
I feel LARPer.
Oh my God. So, wow. So funny. He's really just an idiot. He's been an idiot this whole time.
He thought he was fooling us this whole time. He was really an idiot.
Not an act.
Confident,
He's
suave.
he still might be a bad guy, but he's
He's also kind of a
quirky
good
one.
guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's with us, but you should probably get him out of here.
Chris, did they redeem the LARPers this episode from the first one the second episode?
I did laugh out loud when they came out in their outfits. I will say that. And then he's like, "Oh, great, we're dead." So I was like, "Oh," but I don't know. It was kind of cute, I guess, but it still was stupid. Because I don't know if real LARPers would take themselves that
That's
seriously, but
Mm.
I don't know. But I mean, it did make for a very funny moment that I did laugh out loud in my living
Yeah.
room. So I'll give them that much. But
Yeah.
They made them heroes, though. They were helping people get away.
Yeah.
So even though they
yeah,
weren't
just go this
listening,
way.
they run the
Yeah.
other way. But they try.
Yeah. I love how no one would listen to him until they changed into their costumes, and then
Yeah.
Then they
So
had
what everybody's-
authority.
Mm.
Silly.
All right, arrows everywhere. We get to see them make them for one, and then we get to see them go off. We get to see another Pym arrow.
These
other
Stark
Pym.
arrow.
Yeah, we got to see Stark arrows too, but the Pym arrow
yeah.
did the instead of
Yeah.
the enlargement. Did the
When
shrinking.
the owl came and picked him up,
Oh my God, the owl!
I had to stop the
That
video. I was
so
laughing so hard.
cute.
And
So
then
you
the-
remember last year, I think it was, they brought the tree to Rockefeller Center and found the owl in it, the little baby
Yeah.
owl
Mhm.
Yep.
that they named Rockefeller. So for them to put that in this was so
Mhm.
There's actually a
freaking
Christmas book.
cute.
Yeah, it's
They
called
made a
a
Christmas
Christmas
book?
owl.
Oh, it's so cute.
And
Oh, I
Clint
thought that
sees him,
was
and Clint's
hilarious.
like, "Oh, Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
It's
Can
like,
I
where you at?
say-
I'm stuck in a tree.
One of my favorite things that they showed was Clint making his own arrows. Because this whole
Yeah.
time we think, oh, Tony gave it to him, someone else engineered this. No, he's been doing this the whole time. He's been making his own too dangerous to use trick arrows, and I loved that so much.
And it pays off so well.
Yeah.
The creativity, that's one of the things I've always loved about Hawkeye, whether it be in like a video games or like some of the comics that I've read, or now in the show. The creativity with the trick arrows is just top notch, because you can just it's like the old days of Superman, where they just were just like, oh, we need to have a way for him to fix this. Let's just give him that superpower. But this one actually makes more sense. Superman doesn't need magical basket weaving powers. Clint needs a shrink arrow, or a poison gas arrow, or sleep dart arrows, or like.
Yeah.
Although I think one of the best parts of this series is how they paid homages to Christmas movies that took place at Christmas, and I think him making the arrows almost feels like the montage of Macaulay Culkin setting up his traps, and when the traps go off, it's like Home Alone as well. I mean, even other sort of Christmas Easter eggs, when Yelena and Kate are in the elevator and she pushes all the buttons, that's Elf.
Yeah.
When she's going towards the window and she steps on the piano, she's in FAO shorts, which is from Big.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then of course when Clint jumps off the building holding on to something, it's like Die Hard. So you get all these wonderful moments that are a little bit of homages to other Christmas movies, which just makes this series even more endearing and interesting.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we get a couple of conclusions to the Ronin character, of course. They finally burn the costume, and we also get the watch. And then we'll talk about the whole Christmas wrapping up here in a second. Wrapping up, you able to see what I did there. But the watch, Chad, you probably know this more than the rest of the crew, but Agent 19, which, there's a shield thing with 19 on the back of the watch, and he confirms that it was Laura's. Who is Agent 19, sir, in shield?
Is that Mockingbird?
It is Mockingbird.
Bobby Morris.
Agent 19 is Mockingbird.
Morris.
So.
Which she was known as Mockingbird because she would mock people, and so that's how she got her nickname.
So I guess they've put it out there.
Tony was right.
That's kind of
good.
cool.
I'm good with that.
That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
All right. One of the themes throughout the 6 episodes was getting home in time for Christmas. Vanessa, Scarlet Hawk, did he make it home in time for Christmas?
He did. Oh, it was so touching when he was getting out all that stuff in the trunk and then pulled out those presents. Oh my God, my heart. And then called for Kate. You coming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucky. And then we hear Lucky. We finally heard Lucky.
Yep.
His name. Lucky the pizza dog. Oh no, that moment. Because for a moment I thought, while Clint and Yelena were fighting, that Laura was going to show up and intervene. Like that's how
I thought it was too.
Yeah,
she was an agent or something. Yeah, but it just felt so nice to have him get home and everybody, like, it just worked, right? Because you always feel at any moment they're gonna pull the rug out from under you. They won't be at the house or anything could happen, but the fact that it just worked. And he said, I brought home a couple of strays. I just love that. And I love Linda Cardellini too. She's such a great actress. She's just great to have around, And does she not look exactly the same as she did in Freaks and Geeks? She had the same hair.
Oh my God. There might be some crows, but still looks great.
Everybody had great. Everybody had great hair in this episode. She had great hair when she showed up. Yelena had this like mohawk braid.
I know. That was
awesome.
Even Jacques, he had his little.
Yeah,
he had quite the
only one that you could argue that didn't have great hair was Kingpin, but
well, it was nice and shiny.
maybe it's downstairs. You never know.
Oh, stop! No,
he's got a mohawk braid down there. Too soon?
Too late.
Address all comments to Christopher. Um,
Don't knock it till you try it.
stop.
I'll keep knocking it. Thanks.
Yeah, she will.
All right. One last thing we got to talk about, and I've heard some people online getting upset about this. I was thrilled, but we get a stinger, but it's not a stinger. It's just an end credit scene of the entire song for
Rogers the
musical. What's the consensus here?
The only way that it would have been better is if they panned to, something funny at the very end, like, Kate and Clint like out there, and Kate going, "Yeah, you're right, it's terrible." Or if for some reason they had panned over to Scott Lang and his family, and Scott had been like, "Yeah, that's exactly how it went." That's the only way it would have been better.
Well, they could have the owl and Hammerhead. If you guys know who those two characters are, would have been insane.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. From the moment I saw that song, I said, I want to see the whole thing. I want to see the whole song. I want to see the whole play, actually. I want to see Rogers the musical.
I mean, it's meant to be cheesy on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen and the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I love it.
Yes. Hulk smash. Like,
oh my God, smash, smash, smash.
And we actually heard the line, Hawkeye, yeah, he's a really great guy. Like, that's all they have to say about him.
Oh man. I will admit though, I was wanting some kind of teaser on something coming up, and we really didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Was a full trailer at the end of Spider-Man not enough for you? Like,
well, that's for Spider-Man. Yeah. I will say I was wanting. I just wanted a hint of something.
Some more Kingpin.
Well, they don't know if they're going to be renewed, so I don't want to hint it too much.
Yeah.
I think this is the end. I think when
even if they just have Echo put the hand on her face, something,
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
I will take Rogers the musical. Sorry.
So I would argue that even though how you said that they don't know if they're renewed, I think that every series knows if they're getting renewed or not beforehand, because they've got a plan.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
When season 2 comes along, it's Kate. It's Kate Hawkeye.
Yeah. But it could be a Hawkeye movie, or it could be, a team up with Yelena and Kate, or
that would be great.
Clint could come back for Young Avengers. Like, there's so many different ways that they could go, and I think they have a plan, but they don't want to show their hand right now because they want to end Phase 4 before they get to that point.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of setting everything up. I'm not knocking them, but the Young Avengers is becoming a thing with each passing. I know. It's like, it's all there. It's all there.
Wanda's gonna find her kids, man.
Yep, that's going to be the thing that happens in Doctor Strange.
I hope.
I don't
want another Mephisto moment.
Well, we're
that was a dark era in my life.
We're gonna have Mephisto moments for the rest.
It was a dark era in my internet life. It's Mephisto. It's Mephisto.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Slattman, sir, you are up first.
Okay, so my score is a 5. The series is a 5. This episode was great. This episode, like I said earlier, this series just started off going uphill and just never took that nosedive. It just kept getting better and better and better. And this episode was it wrapped everything up nicely in a bow. And when it did that, it did it in such a great way. It has very, very fun action scenes, great performances, some real tearjerker moments, but also some laugh out loud funny moments that really really make the whole episode just a joy to watch. And the pacing is perfect. And there are some spectacularly shot scenes. One scene is is the scene where Kate and Yelena are kind of like fighting but not really
Mhm.
through the building, and
Yes.
it's going through the different sections of the building, like
From office to office to
Yeah.
office.
and it and you know, you can tell that there's probably some cuts in there, like but it's done in such a smooth way that it just feels continuous, and it's so well staged and choreographed, and I love it. And the creativity with the trick arrows, and it's just they did such a good job, and the payoffs for everything that they've put in place for the past 5 episodes is it's all there, and it's so satisfying. And I think that's the biggest thing that we get out of this episode, because a lot of the finales for these Disney Plus Marvel shows, while they've been good, they haven't been this satisfying.
Mhm.
They a lot of them have had more questions than answers, or they've left more stones unturned and decided to not touch certain plot threads and resolve them, rather than just wrapping everything up nicely. And this feels like one cohesive story. This feels like one cohesive arc of comic books. You know, this is what you want out of a comics to, I guess, small screen. Like this is a perfect way to adapt a comic to TV. I love it. 5. And I am having a really hard time picking a favorite scene, because there's 3 I want to take.
And we know one of them has already been claimed. So
No, that's not
wasn't
it.
even one.
No, that
that's not
wasn't
even one of them.
That's
Oh,
not
my.
one. So I'm gonna cheat and pick 2 of them.
You dog. Okay, go ahead.
And if no one takes my last one, I'm gonna give it at the end. The first one is the first one is the moment between Kate and Yelena in the elevator, specifically in the elevator.
Yes.
Like their interactions and their chemistry in that small little space, and with so little to work with, is awesome.
When she rips that dress off and she's got the uniform
Yeah.
underneath. Did you plan that?
and the slap.
Oh my God.
And Yelena's just like, Kate's just like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh, man. She pushes all the buttons and she goes,
Yeah.
"You're so annoying.
That was
You're
so
so
good.
annoying."
It's so good. And then the other scene I want to take is when they're using all the trick arrows. That just made me so happy. The
Yes.
creativity with all the trick arrows in that action scene was just I loved it.
Very good. Very good. Vanessa, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, your favorite scene.
Like I said earlier, this is definitely my favorite episode of all of the Marvel series. And honestly, I think this series is my favorite out of all of them too. It just
Nice.
really struck a chord. I love the storylines. I love that it's around Christmas time. I loved getting to know Clint Barton more. I had no idea I needed or wanted to, but man, did I want it and need it. Like, they delivered, and he's like right now one of my favorite characters. He's just so cool. That when she's describing that story of seeing him, you know, and that inspiring her, like, yeah, man, he does inspire, because he's just a guy. He's got talents that he's honed over his life, but he's still just a guy, you know. And I love that story. So 5 out of 5 for the show and for the episode, for sure. And yeah, there's lots of moments one could choose from. There's so many. The whole episode is moments to pick. There's so many. There's so many things that happen. There's so many cool action scenes. There's so many bros that you hear thrown around throughout the episode. Bro, wait. Oh my God, when the one bro stops her and she's like, wait, I know this is awkward, but you really helped me in my relationship. What? But my favorite scene, it's a small scene. It was at the very beginning And it's when Kate is like, "This is my problem. This is my mess. Go home to your family." And he's like, "You're my partner, Kate." And I was like,
Oh,
at this
That was
moment,
my
like,
third one.
that's it. That is
nice.
Yeah.
such
Nice. Ding,
freaking
ding, ding,
good
ding, ding, ding.
So I'm glad I
moment.
didn't
Like,
take it.
yeah, me too. But yeah, oh, it touched me, and at that moment, I knew like this episode is a winner. I knew it from that moment when he said that, and he meant it, and she felt it, and she was tearing up, and I felt it, and I was tearing up, and oh, I just love it. I love this series so much.
I'm glad. Glad I like that you picked that scene. Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, your favorite scene.
Well, let me throw out a few Easter eggs that I found sort of throughout that we hadn't already talked about. The title is "This Is Christmas," which is actually the first line of Lennon's song "Happy
So this is
Xmas."
Christmas.
War is over, and again, the very end of the series, the war is over between Clint and the tracksuits. So it's very apropos. In episode 3, there was a family therapy poster that was behind them when they were talking. And the episode where they're on the train, they were basically in the same position as that family therapy as they're having family therapy on the train. So I thought that was
Hilarious.
kind of cool. The cherry issue of the comics was where they had where they brought in all the different arrows, such as the Sonic, the Putty, the Net, and the Boomerang, which we didn't see, but I'm sure there's one at some point. The bola weapon that she uses was something that actually she used in the comics, so we get to see that. Let's see. The outfit that he has at the end is very similar to the Matt Fraction outfit that they had in the comics. There's a point where he tells Kate, "Give him hell," which is the only other time he said that was to Natasha in one of the Avengers films.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, we talked about the watch. Mockingbird faked her deaths to become a civilian, and so that's why he was trying to find that, so no one knew that she used to be a SHIELD agent. In the comics, her name was the same name as Hawkeye because they also had a running joke about not being able to find a perfect name for her. So that's why the end of the scene where they're throwing out names is sort of a riff on that. The tracking shot where they're fighting feels very similar to the long hallway shot, but just their variation like they did in the Daredevil series, the infamous Daredevil fight that felt very similar, but a different way of doing a side tracking shot, which I thought was amazing. That's one of the cool things about this series, all the cool ways they shot action scenes. And there's also a cool scene where the camera flips when she comes out of the window, when Yelena comes out of the window and it goes sideways. Such a cool thing. And that's all for that. But anyway, yeah, I thought this was an amazing episode. I think the ending is a perfect arc for all the different things in the series. We finally get to see Kingpin in all his crazy glory, where he's just knocking arrows off his chest like it's a Eminem. It's like I just even though he's probably not as brutal as the Daredevil series, he's still a menace. And we get arcs for all the major characters. And even if we don't get anything like with this specific series, I think it's a great ending to the series and one of the better endings to any of these series, just based on how they completed all the arcs of the characters. And also it's just a fun. I've laughed throughout the whole series, but that ending, I laughed several times when he's like in that tree and looking at the owl, and when the LARPers come out, and Yelena and Kate when they're in the elevator, and just the snarks between them, or when they're and shooting the arrows and doing all the crazy. I mean, it's just so much fun. And this is the kind of fun Marvel stuff I want to see more of, where it's not all serious stuff. It's not all gritty. Do some fun stuff like this. You can still do your wacky concept things, but have some fun. 5 out of 5 for me. And my favorite scene is one of the craziest scenes, but also, if you think about it, horrible. When he shrinks those guys in the van. And the funny thing is, if you pull up the description of what what's happening for people who are hearing impaired. It says children screaming,
Yeah, I saw that.
which makes it even worse.
Help
my
me,
God.
help me.
Because then the whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, that owl's going to eat them like rats.
Yep.
He's going.
We're gonna end up like
Bro.
scat,
I
right?
think I think if I was in that van, that truck, I would crap in
no,
my
bro.
pants. I don't know if
End up in a pile of owl poop. Are
I
you
mean,
okay, bro? I'm
because
okay.
they go out of the way to not kill people, but I think those people are dead. They're in that
Jack
owl's
was like
belly.
slashing through people and like crazy.
Well, yeah, but those are probably, flesh wounds as opposed to an owl ingesting you and pooping you
Being
out
eaten
over the yard.
alive
Throwing you back up.
by
Yeah.
an owl.
Anyway, I just thought
Oh,
that was.
goodness.
I think that's the cool thing about this series. There's been crazy stuff like that we've seen in the series we haven't seen in any other stuff, and it's just funny how horrible a way to die that would be.
I don't know.
Yes.
So that's my favorite scene.
That's a
Good
good scene.
one.
Children
Great scene.
screaming.
Good one.
Chad,
Yeah.
sir, your final thoughts, your score, your favorite scene.
5, 5, 5.
15.
Okay. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah, this series has been the most enjoyable. Like I said, I was scared at first with only 6 episodes. But what they've done with 6 episodes is turned out to be my favorite Marvel TV series, hands down. And I just did an incredible job. And you guys have covered it better than I could. About the character interactions and stuff like that, and the characterizations of Hawkeye, and finally getting to know what makes him tick and what, and why he does the things he does, and into his more personal space with his family and stuff like that was awesome to me, because like I said, I've never been a big fan of Hawkeye in the comics, but I love Clint Barton in the MCU. Just him and Black Widow together were just amazing to watch. So and this captures a lot of that. Even though Black Widow's not there, you're seeing the aftermath of what happened in Endgame, and I love that kind of stuff. So my favorite scene is, and I hate to make this my favorite scene because it takes away from so much of the other character stuff that was going on and Hawkeye and Kate, but Kingpin, what an introduction
Yes,
to the MCU for Kingpin. I mean, that whole fight with him and Kate Bishop, I was just comic book geeking out over that, because it was just it's so much like the Kingpin I know from reading Spider-Man and Daredevil. I was like, oh my God, that's what I was doing. And I just thought that was just an amazing introduction to that character. And I feel like they will come back. Like Doc, you said earlier, there were some plot threads that were kind of left hanging, but I think they can always come back to those plot lines in season 2. And but yeah, that was my favorite above. That was just awesome to me. The whole Kingpin Kate fight.
Yes. I 5 out of 5. Yes. I know that I kind of talked that it didn't quite I didn't like this as much as I liked the previous couple episodes. I just think that Bert and Bertie handled the material a little better. Not to slight our other director, but I really want to see what they do with future work. But at the same time, the writing on this is just spectacular, and the dialogue and the witty back and forth and the inventiveness. I'm having a ball with this. As a comic book fan for more years than I want to say out loud, I don't think I ever dreamed that we would have this. Right? We would have these 4 different series in 1 year, and all of them are well worth investing your time in and satisfying in their own different ways. And we got more coming, and I'm just so amazed. If you drink every time we say amazed or amazing, you will not make it through this episode. My favorite scene, I'm going to go with Kingpin as well, Chad, but to me, it's the eye twitching Kingpin.
Oh,
specifically when Eleanor is basically telling him that this is the line, and I'm leaving, and he says, don't do that. Basically, you get hit. His eye was twitching. His freaking eye was twitching. You could see him ready to like pop a cork, and it was just like the tension. To me, that was that character. He's at a table, sitting across from you, and he owns it. He owns it, and she did something that she cannot walk away from, and that Hawkeye Clint Barton knew that. It's just that was great. That was great. So I just really appreciated that moment with that character, and of course we got the revelations that some of us or all of us suspected, about her being a baddie, but I'm going to go with that. That's what I'm doing.
The only little nitpicking thing I had about the Kingpin Kate fight was how Eleanor got the car around enough and sped toward him enough to run over Kingpin. I don't know. That's a nitpicky thing.
At first, I thought it was one of the LARPers until I actually saw Eleanor in the driver's seat.
Yes,
I was like, that would have been like a great time for one of the LARPers to show up.
Yep. Yeah. I want to watch it again.
It was great.
Not watch it again.
Especially the LARPer had decorated their car like it's a dragon or something.
Yeah. Or a big sword.
Do better, Marvel.
Nah. All right. Well, there you go. That's our review of Hawkeye episode 6. Stick with us next week as we begin reviewing the Book of Boba Fett. And of course, 2022 has just I don't think we're going to have any lack of content to review between the movies and Disney Plus and HBO Max and what Warner Brothers is going to be bringing us on the DC side. And then there's also, tons of other types of properties. I think The Boys is coming for season 3, right? Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worth discussing as well. It's going to be a great year. Christopher, Scarlet Hawk, Slattman, Chan, thank you for joining me this week.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Always
having
fun.
us. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad you could make it, Christopher. All right.
Yeah.
Let's say goodnight.
Yippee-ki-yay, Hawkeye.
I can do this all day.
Oh, nice.
I'm not singing.
You could.